Did you like my subtle title? We're going to talk a little bit about abortion today. We're going to give you a little bit of background. You're going to get some numbers. And unfortunately, if you have a soul, you're going to be sick to your stomach when you see what people are talking about, some people are talking about, and the direction they want to take this issue. The Roe v. Wade decision was handed down in 1973. And that decision basically confirmed that a person has a right to abort until the fetus is viable. The Roe decision defined that as being potentially able to live outside the mother's womb, albeit with artificial aid, adding that viability is usually placed at about 7 months or 28 weeks, but may occur even earlier at 24 weeks. And what this basically did is confirmed a woman's right to abort. It's the whole, my body, my choice. But the funny thing is that I'm not going to sit here and advocate that we overturn Roe v. Wade. I'm a conservative. Where I fall is that you're at liberty to make choices for yourself, even if that choice is to kill a baby, because that's what you're doing. I don't, I've never been interested in listening to people cloak it with terms like reproductive health and reproductive freedom. What it is a conscious decision to terminate another life, a life that cannot defend itself, a life that doesn't know what's happening to it, a life that can feel pain when the procedure is performed. But here's where I draw a line is I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for a baby to be killed because that is my choice, or it should be. I don't want to support the deliberate murder of a baby. But the truth is, regardless of what you clowns on the left want to say about it, most Americans agree with me. Most don't support taxpayer funded abortion unless it's in the case of rape or incest, which are exceptions that I support despite my overall revulsion at the whole practice. But that's not the case thanks to the radical left. But see, that's what real conservatism is. If you want to make a choice, you're free to make it, but not with support from me. But if your choice as a woman is taken away, such as is the case with rape or incest, I support your right to abort, as horrible as it is, and I will support it even with my tax dollars. What I don't support is infanticide as a means of avoiding a consequence of a consensual act, especially with my tax dollars. But guess who does? You guessed it, our intrepid idiot in chief. Way back when, still an Illinois state senator, this guy opposed three different versions of what was called at the time the Infant Born Alive Protection Act. Now, this is an Illinois statute. It failed. This act mandated that doctors provide care to infants born alive after a failed abortion. Now remember, during the first presidential campaign, this is the idiot who said the definition of where life begins is above his pay grade. He can't understand when life begins, despite the fact that he sat in an allegedly Christian church for 20 years. Now, the link I'm going to put with the other links that go along with this article, this will help you spell out his logic. But the fact is simply this: according to him, you're not a person until you make it out of the abortion center alive. And as we'll see, some are taking us to a place where they want to make it even later. And this is not funny, haha, but funny like you wish you hadn't heard this at all. The Because I do the research on this stuff, the largest abortion provider in the country is the old "we're here to provide screenings and other women's health services," Planned Parenthood. Just some numbers for you. Take a look at the first column. Abortion procedures in 2012, 327,166. Now this comes from Planned Parenthood. I didn't get this from from some third party. Uh, Referrals for the morning after pill, not quite as bad as an abortion, I don't think. 1.6 million. But the funny part is that the adoption referrals, 2,197. Now look at that number as opposed to the number of abortions that they actually preferred, and you tell me where their sympathies lie. And while we're on the subject of Planned Parenthood, did you realize that there's ethnic cleansing going on? In 2013, among white women, there were 138 abortions for every 1,000 live births. So, About 14%. Among black women, the number is 501 per 1,000 pregnancies. So half of all pregnancies entered into by African American women end with abortion. But really, that really shouldn't surprise you because Planned Parenthood was founded by the wonderful Margaret Sanger. She was a eugenicist and an unapologetic racist. Now, these are the quotes that you won't see hanging on the wall in your local Planned Parenthood office. Here's one. The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it. These are great. Give dysgenic groups, people with bad genes in our population, their choice of segregation or compulsory sterilization. And guess who gets to define the people with bad genes? People like her. This is from Plan for Peace. This was published in 1932, and this is from Article 1. The purpose of the American Baby Code shall be to provide for a better distribution of babies and to protect society against the propagation and increase of the unfit. Article 4, same document. No woman shall have the legal right to bear a child, and no man shall have the right to become a father without a permit. See, this is China stuff, people. And then from Article 6, no permit for parenthood shall be valid for more than one birth. But really, this is my favorite Sangerism of all time. This is from Women, Morality, and Birth Control, page 12. We should hire 3 or 4, and I apologize, colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. Oh man. Running a close second from Women and the New Race, Chapter 6. We should apply a stern and rigid policy of sterilization and segregation to that grade of population whose progeny is tainted or whose inheritance is such that objectionable traits may be transmitted to offspring. Wonderful. So please, African Americans, Hispanics, keep right on going to Planned Parenthood. It's what they had in mind for you right from the start. Now, I hate to end on a bad note, but the reason I put this entry together in the first place is coming up. I ran across an article on Slate that at first I didn't believe it, and I looked it up. I looked it up on Snopes. I tried to see if it was some kind of a hoax. The title was After Birth Abortion, the Pro-Choice Case for Infanticide. So two philosophers, Alberto Giubellini and Francesca Minerva, actually said this in the Journal of Medical Ethics. This is a short quote, and I'm going to give you links to this as well. Get this. When circumstances occur after birth such that they would have justified abortion, what we call after-birth abortion should be permissible. We propose to call this practice after-birth abortion rather than infanticide to emphasize that the moral status of the individual killed is comparable with that of a fetus rather than that of a child. Therefore, we claim that killing a newborn could be ethically permissible in all the circumstances where abortion would be. Such circumstances include cases where the newborn has the potential to have an at least acceptable life, but the well-being of the family is at risk. Now think about this. Basically, we're saying if a baby makes it out of the womb, say like a woman decided to abort and she's poor, and she would have aborted because she's poor. If the baby is born alive and is healthy, then these clowns are proposing that there is still an ethical case to be made for killing the newborn simply because the mother is still poor, or for other reasons. They could be socio or other economic reasons. And I hope you're getting this. This is one more. If criteria such as the cost, social, get this, social, psychological, economic, for the potential parents are good enough reasons for having an abortion, even when the fetus is healthy, if the moral status of the newborn is the same as that of the infant, and if neither has any moral value by virtue of being a potential person, then the same reasons which justify abortion should also justify the killing of the potential person when it is at the stage of a newborn. Are you hearing this? This is what medical ethicists are out there making cases for. And because they're bringing it up, it isn't going to go away. So let's go over this one more time. If criteria such as the costs, and they could be social, psychological, economic, for the potential parents are good enough reasons for having an abortion, even when the fetus is healthy, a baby isn't a person yet. They have to get to the point where we are now a potential person. I just I can't wrap my head around this, but there are people out there who feel this way. So here's where we are. If these guys get their way, then a baby wouldn't even be safe, even if it makes it out of the womb. And the thing is, like I keep saying with people on the left, they're serious about this stuff. You might think this is a joke, but there are people out there with alleged, high levels of education. They're serious about what they think, and they never, ever go away.